Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment is brought to you by Elkmont Station, an ever-changing menu of unique farm-fresh dishes. Craft cocktails you won't find anywhere else in East Tennessee, and a comfy, cozy atmosphere just perfect for a meal with family or friends. Elkmont Station offers all that and more. Find out more at elkmontstationknox.com. Let's also welcome to the show Bob Hodge, Sports Source OG. Bob, good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for being with us today, and congratulations are also in order. It was a big win for Tennessee against Texas A&M. It was a big milestone for Rick Barnes, his 800th career win. When you look at what he has done over the course of his career as a coach, and a lot of those have now come at the University of Tennessee as well, but he is only the 15th Division I coach with 800 career wins. Tennessee put out a video with a bunch of other great coaches, many of them on that list. Roy Williams, Tom Izzo, congratulated him on being a little bit ahead as well. But Jimmy Himes, 800 career wins for Rick Barnes is a heck of a note.
It's a great feat for him. He's had 11 25-win seasons. He's about to have his 12th. He's had 3 30-win seasons. He's won in different eras. He's won with different teams. He's won it with superstars. He's won it with players that not many superstars on his team. And he's done it so many different ways. And it's impressive to see that he's still going as strong as he is after this many years, like 40 years. He's got, I think, 196 wins at Tennessee in 9 years, something like that. So I think it's a remarkable achievement for Rick Barnes.
Yeah, John Calipari's note in the video was, I've told people if you want to hire somebody to come in, rebuild a program, and get it where it needs to go, you go get Rick Barnes. That's who you get, and he's done that at Tennessee. Of course, you hit 800 wins, and he's coached as long as he has. The question then becomes, okay, how many more wins does he have in him? How much longer does he want to coach? How many more times will we see Rick versus Bruce Pearl, which we'll see this week? Vince, what do you think? Rick Barnes, all that he's done, things have changed a little bit in the world of college sports, which we'll get to more in just a few minutes. Rick Barnes, what he's done to this point, how much more he might want to coach?
Well, I get a chance to watch him at practice an awful lot, do the Vol Network pregame interviews, and he has incredible energy during practices. And I don't see any signs of him being so discouraged with the way college athletics has gone or not having that fire in practices, in games. I know there was the narrative of, yeah, he's on the rocking chair tour when he first got here. So much for that. And to me, he's just as dialed in. The key for him handling the state of college athletics is having the right people around him that can maneuver a lot of those things with the NIL transfer portal.
Quick story on that. When I first talked to Rick Barnes after he was hired at Tennessee, I said, does what happened at Texas give you a little bit more fire in your belly? He said, I never lost the fire in my belly. And that's pretty much Rick Barnes.
So just to answer your question, I could see him coaching 3, 4, 5 more years. I mean, unless there's a health issue that comes up, you know.
Right.
I wonder how much of this will be pushed by the fact that he hadn't won it all yet. I mean, he's had one Final Four appearance. So for all the greatness you come back to, you know, that's the reason a lot of people are saying this is be another Sweet 16 team because he, you know, he just doesn't get past that level. So I wonder if that will push him maybe even a little bit longer. That if he's close, I mean, he's got a team that can get there. He's got a team that can win it. He's also got a team that can get beaten in the Sweet 16 like they have for many times. So I just wonder if the pursuit of a championship or at least another Final Four appearance may not be pushing him down. But to your all's point, too, you watch him in a post-game interview or a pre-game interview, he doesn't seem like a man who's close to saying, I'm about done with this.
Two things on it is, one, you talked about all the wins. I think about there's not been any issues either. You mentioned Calipari.
Right.
And there's been other ones that have won at a high level, but there's been issues with their programs. He's done it at a high level and with tons of character. Two, my hope is he does make a run, and kind of like with what Jay Wright did at Villanova. It's like, man, you know what? I could do this a little bit longer, but I'm out. Because the man is so impactful, and he could impact people even beyond basketball in different circles of life and not be so burnt out by the game that we don't get to be impacted by the character and the person that he is. So I hope he doesn't go all the way to the tape where he's burnt out. I hope he gets out with some more energy in his belly to be able to go continue to make impact.
You just never know from a family standpoint what's going on there that might be a priority, see grandkids, things like that. And, you know, he's a big man of faith. So he just may get that sign that telling him, hey, now is the time, even if there's nothing concrete in front of you.
Well, and now you've got name, image, and likeness, which and the transfer portal, which can make it tougher on coaches. But I think his love of coaching basketball supersedes that. I think that's even more important to him. I think he loves getting into the arena and just coaching ball every day, which I think could elongate his career. But to Mark's point, maybe there's a point where he says, hey, I've got enough energy to do these other things. It's time to move on.
To his credit, this year he's shown that he can adjust, because that was part of the previous narrative. Oh, he's setting his ways of defense. He's adjusted with this basketball team.
The other piece of it, you talked about with the Pearl, how many more matchups of these are we going to see? One of those things that most coaches care about is their legacy and their coaching tree. And so the other question would be can he get the program enough to where he's got one of his other coaches in line to where they're looked upon as a candidate that's high enough caliber for this administration to hire one of Rick Barnes' guys. Same thing with Pearl. Pearl wants to have Steven, his son who's on staff, be the next coach. And so I could see Pearl going until he's got a chance to be able to name his successor and being his son. And so I think there are a lot of different aspects that can come into play, but I would bet it's going to be about 3 or 4 more years and where both of them are still going.
Did you see Steven be Tennessee's replacement for Rick Barnes?
No, I don't think that'll happen.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Well, to that point, though, what do you think Rick Barnes has done for the job? The end comes at some point. What does the job look like, do you think, to the coaching world with what Rick's done over the however many years that will have been?
Oh, the stability now with what this program has compared to what was 9 years ago when you've had the Donnie Tyndalls and Conzo brothers just kind of churning through it. Not only just churning through coaches, but the issues and the fog around the program.
Yeah.
I think it's completely changed the trajectory of this program.
Bob Hodge,
I agree.
did I cut you off on a point there?
No, I was just going to say about the Bruce Pearl, how many times are we going to see him, Barnes, that sort of thing. I was just going to agree with what Mark said. I think you've probably got at least 3, 4, who knows how many more of those. But also to the point, yeah, I think Tennessee now is at a different level on basketball than it was. And I'm going to go even farther back before Bruce got here. I think if you go back before that, Tennessee was just a pretty decent basketball school. They'd get to the NCAA a few years. They'd miss it a few years. Now I think you're looking at it more as you're not one of the blue bloods, but you're kind of in that tier where, okay, this is a good, solid place. I can go there and we can have a lot of success.
And you can recruit to, because he's elevated that for sure at Tennessee. And who's longer at their jobs? Is it Pearl at Auburn or Barnes at Tennessee? I mean, that's kind of a close call.
I do think that Pearl elevated the job as well. Now, it didn't end well.
Sure.
Right.
But he showed what could happen, and then Tennessee made a couple of hiring mistakes. But I think that Barnes has actually taken it to a longer, more consistent high level.
Well, I thought you were talking about Pearl at Auburn. Pearl's done the same thing at Auburn. I mean, when we were playing, we used to play Auburn. I mean, there was the moms and dads were and the girlfriends were in the stands, and that was about it. And now that place is rocking. They went to a Final Four. I mean, both coaches have changed the trajectory of these.
There was no jungle when you went down there.
And that says something about Pearl, Barnes. They've made going to a Tennessee basketball game a thing.
Yes.
It's fun. Yeah. They've made that arena into what I never really liked it when they first built Thompson Bowling. But now you go over there, it's a fun place to be, and it looks good. So I think all of that makes Tennessee a better program going forward.
Yeah, both places were ones that fans would avoid at times. Now they make appointments to be there, including this week, this Wednesday, with Bruce Pearl and Auburn coming to town. Rick Barnes versus Bruce Pearl. What will Bruce Pearl try to do on the offensive end, on the defensive end against Tennessee's team? Why don't we ask Bruce Pearl's former player and assistant coach next?